LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie. Yes, hypothetical, but play along. What would that make the Lakers in the West? You feel like it would put them right behind the Warriors?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was looking at the rejoin we came back in. I'm looking at the highlights on television.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Dude, I don't care about all the other stuff. Because the highlights is convincing me he really didn't do that much damage to the way people making it seem. Now, the highlights are probably messing with my mind a little bit. But because, dude, it's good, man. He's so good, you're going to put up with whatever little bit of what we think is a distraction.
Well, little bit.
Is. Whatever little bit we think. Because, and the reason I say that is because I think back to his days in Cleveland. Young, didn't understand LeBron. Mm-hmm. And so he, that situation soured. But he didn't do the things that he did in Boston or he's done in New Jersey, in Brooklyn with the Nets. He's been, missing time due to whatever situations come up, but he didn't do that in Cleveland. And I'm watching him up and down the court, and I'm saying to myself, I said, if LeBron could talk to him and they on the same page and they understand, man, you better get that deal done if you're the Lakers.
That's right. If you can make it happen. I just feel like Kyrie with a leader that can be, somebody that can work with and get in his ear. Hey, listen, man, we're with you. We support what you're doing there, but your brothers need you, man. Like, we need you out here.
Different
like that
conversation.
Kind of conversation. Yeah. It might have happened over the last couple of years, no doubt about it. But all right. So how about what Draymond Green told Bloomberg over the weekend? Again, it's all hypothetical, but because free agency starts on Friday, and you have basically the ability for him to tell the Nets, I'm not going to take my option. I'm walking into free agency, and we'll know that by Thursday. We may not even know it by Wednesday. And if that happens, now, of course, the Nets have to figure out what they want to do going forward. But for him to walk away from $36 million, that's his option. That's precarious in a market where there's no teams with cap space. None that you would want to go to, so you'd have to get real creative. But here's what Draymond told Bloomberg over the weekend with this hypothetical hanging in the balance. With LeBron James, if you give them someone like Kyrie, they'll have a chance because of the way Kyrie can score the basketball. LeBron will only put him in a position to do that. Kyrie has not proven to be a great leader. LeBron will put an umbrella over that. If you can do what you're good at, you have LeBron leading. They could contend. But, of course, he adds, but they won't beat us. But
That's
still,
okay. He should feel confident. They just won a championship.
That's right.
Draymond's still riding high right now. But I think everything he's saying, Hahn, is correct. You certainly put them in a situation with Kyrie, LeBron, and AD where they're right on Golden State's heels. I would probably put them on par even with a healthy Clipper team. Okay. They'll be top 3 in the West for sure, 100%, no questions asked, because they were a top 3 team 2 years ago in the West, and they wind up winning the championship because of that. 3 years ago, better yet.
Right. And we talk about also whether it's the relationship aspect, as we were just saying a few minutes ago. Well, you have LeBron there, and he could get in his ear and talk to him. We forget that those two had a divorce where Kyrie left Cleveland. I don't want to be part of this. He felt like an underling. He would talk about that all the time regarding LeBron. He didn't like it. He wanted to be at his level. The two of them since then have talked about how they were both wrong. LeBron said, you see what he does with Anthony Davis, right? Kid, you see it yourself firsthand. He makes sure to keep pumping Anthony Davis's tires. Like, keep making sure that this guy's a star. He's important to us. Talks him up. Kyrie also looks back on that relationship that he had with LeBron in Cleveland, and he said, I didn't handle it right. I was young. I didn't understand how all that stuff. I would do it differently if I could do it over again. So it seems like there's a bit of a thaw between the two of them, which is why this could work. Woj was on the show on Friday, and he was asked where Kyrie's relationship is right now with LeBron.
I think it's absolutely good enough to play together. I think the relationships are a lot less important if you're the Lakers when you are as talent-starved as they are. You get over past issues quickly when you see a chance to bring in a talent, whatever risk comes with that, because right now you're not good enough.
Now, Key, your team doesn't have a lot of assets to offer to get a deal like this done, because the only way a trade happens is if you convince someone to take Russell Westbrook's salary. That's how it works. But you don't have first. Like if you had a bunch of firsts you could package with it, Oklahoma City does it all the time. They love, they seem to love to do this stuff. And how it'd be such a coincidence to send Russell Westbrook back to Oklahoma City and almost a salary dump, wouldn't it? But
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, but you could get it done. It's just got to be strategically done. I think that they realize that maybe Kyrie has to take less money. Then you got to move Westbrook to open up a roster spot and get rid of that money to go get some other players to put around those three. And I think they could get it done. You just got to surrender some picks. What are your picks that you're willing to surrender?
They don't have much. They don't have much at all. They gave a lot of them away already. As you saw this year, their first-round pick went to the Pelicans, and that was the reason why you got Anthony Davis and were able to do that. So you need help. You need other teams. Who in the NBA wants to help the Lakers? Not many teams want to help them. Not many teams want to help LeBron win another championship. But I just feel like there's always a way, especially if the motivation is there. And if you're the Nets and maybe you just feel like, maybe Sean Marks feels like, you know what, I want control of this franchise again. And my only way of doing it is letting this guy walk. You convince the owner, we're better off we move on without him and we just build around Kevin Durant. Especially if, as you know, we talked about earlier in the show, Kevin has said, I'm staying out of it. Everybody's predicting that if Kyrie walks, he will blow up and demand a trade. But he's saying, this is none of my business. I'm not involved in this. This is all about Kyrie and what he does. I can't get involved in it. So I'm kind of curious to see where things go in the next couple of days, because if the Nets want to move on or Kyrie wants to move on, the options are thin, but they're actually really interesting.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.